back to another video. I'm Sbahle Mkhize and this is my channel. If you are a regular digger, a regular liker, a regular sharer, honey, thank you so much for coming back once again. And if you're new here today, welcome to the channel. Make sure that you click that subscribe button so you can join the regular digulars. Okay, my love, so as you can see by the title of this video, this is another informative video and I'm here to share some information with you that I think will be very, very helpful. So as you guys already know, I am a teacher in China and I'm currently working in an international school, but this wasn't how it all started for me. I've gone through a long journey to get where I am today. So I'm here to share with you with what I did to get myself where I am and where I studied and why I chose to study with Moreland University. Now, just to give you guys a bit of a background, I am a sports graduate with an honors, and I did my undergrad in 3 years and I did an honors for another year. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to leave South Africa and go work as a teacher in China. So that is exactly what I did. And in order to do that, I obviously needed some teaching qualification. And at the time, a TEFL was enough. So I was able to get a TEFL with my bachelor's degree, get a teaching job in China. Now, at the time, back in 2018, you know, we were working for training centers and kindergartens. And I would say the competition wasn't as much. There was a big demand for teachers, especially South Africans. So I was able to get a job like this, you know, and so that's what I did. And while I was teaching and obviously working in kindergartens and training centers, I realized that I really love teaching. It really is something that I'm passionate about. But I just felt like at the time, I wasn't really seeing a difference in my kids and what I was teaching. And I couldn't figure out why I was feeling very demotivated and not inspired anymore. And it kind of just became more about the money and less about the work. And so, you know, I did a little bit of an introspection and I was like, you know what? I think in order for me to move on to the next level and level up in my teaching career, I need to study further. And I remember at the time, we were going through a lot in China. We had COVID, we had lockdown, and the jobs in the market rather were not paying as well as they used to. And, you know, you had to level up yourself to get the position that you wanted. And so I knew that I was done with kindergarten and I wanted to make that step or take that step to move into primary school and specifically international schools. So I started doing research about what I need to do to get into an international school. And, you know, at the time I read a bunch of things and I actually bumped into a friend of mine. Shout out to Twyla, who is probably now in Shanghai. I haven't been in contact with her in a long time, but she recommended Moreland University to me. She was obviously also studying through Moreland and she recommended it because she was like, you know what? A lot of international schools in China recognize Moreland University as an accredited institution that prepares educators rather to be 21st century teachers. And when it comes to international schools here in China, they value students that come from all over the world. They create accommodations. They want teachers who can teach students at different levels in one space. They also want to incorporate technology in the classroom as much as possible. And so they want to see teachers who are skilled and able to handle the different skill sets within the classroom. So when I got in touch with Moreland and applied, I still obviously had my things that I wanted my box, or rather I still wanted things that I wanted Moreland to tick on the list of criteria that I want for an institution that I want to study with. And so I want to chat to you guys about that process, step by step, how Moreland was able to tick all my boxes. Because at the end of the day, I needed to find the university that best suits my lifestyle and that could get me the job that I wanted. So just to give you a little bit of background, Moreland offers a EPP or a Teach Now Preparation Certificate. And EPP is an education preparation program. This is for people like you and me who don't have educational backgrounds, meaning we don't have a bachelor's degree in education. However, we do aspire to be teachers and we do aspire to work in international schools. So they prepare us and make sure that we get everything we need in order to thrive in those spaces. So I'm actually going to just keep looking down because I've got my notes there. So Teach Now is a preparation program. So Moreland offers that, which is what I chose. And then they also offer the master's program. So when I was going through the list of things that I want and the timing that I wanted to be done, I chose the Teach Now preparation certificate, and I'll tell you why. All right. So the first reason was the flexibility. Okay. The EPP, or the Teach Now preparation program, was very flexible. I could study anytime, anywhere. I only had to attend one VC a week, which is like a Zoom call with teachers from around the world with our lecturer in that module, and we would share, we would discuss, we would collaborate, and then we'd be sent off to do our assignments and read and come back and submit stuff, before the next VC. What I loved too is that it was so ideal for myself, who was a working professional at the time. I didn't quit my job. I knew that, okay, I need to give myself time to study whilst I'm here, and then when I'm done, I'm going to start applying for the jobs that I want. You know what I mean? So that I was able to balance work and school. And, I never felt overwhelmed. I definitely felt challenged, but I was never feeling overwhelmed, if you know what I mean. Another thing that was on my list was that I needed to complete whatever I was going to study in less than a year. Because like I said, the climate at the time wasn't looking good. People were getting retrenched. Schools were closing down. Kindergartens were closing down. Training centers were closing down. So I needed to get something quickly that could be very, very impactful, that could give me all the information that I needed and all the skill set that I need so that I could thrive in the next school that I was going to, which would be a primary school. So the Moreland Teach Now preparation program only takes 9 months, and you get it done, you get your qualification, and you start applying, So that for me was another tick. All right. Another thing was that it was very cost effective. Now, when I say cost effective, I mean it was lower in tuition when you compare it to a bunch of in-person programs, meaning programs that you need to attend, go there, do practicals in person, etc., etc. Additionally, I was saving on commuting and all these other things that are associated with studying physically in the university. So, I didn't need to relocate anywhere. I didn't need to commute anywhere. It was cost effective. All I needed to do was pay my monthly fees. So Moreland does offer a monthly installment payment plan. So that for me worked perfectly. And, you can also opt to pay once off. I will put the prices of the Teach Now preparation program on the screen. And so you just do that, and so that for me was another tick. I could afford it. I could pay monthly, and by the end of 9 months I didn't have any student loans. I was done. I graduated and I was on my way. All right. Now, another thing that they ticked on my list was access to diverse resources. Now, online EPPs often provide access to a wide range of resources like videos and reading materials, modules, video lectures. So Moreland had that and more. We had all those resources and a tutorer, if you want to call him, or a leader or a lecturer who was accessible to us 24 hours, okay? When I say 24 hours, obviously, I wasn't emailing him at 11 at night. But if I did, he would respond within 24 hours, So that was such a good resource. I never felt like I never felt like I had no one. I always felt like I could reach out to my lecturer if something was confusing me, or I needed some clarity, or, I needed help with something. And obviously, another plus was that I didn't need to buy textbooks. Everything was online. Everything was accessible. As I just needed some good internet, which I had, which is free, obviously, at work. And when I'm at home, I do have to pay Wi-Fi, but it's not a lot of money here. But, I was super, super happy to see that every single material was online and I didn't need to purchase any books. I didn't need to purchase materials. They were all free. And I had access to it all throughout the 9-month course, Another thing was that I didn't need to do any online digital library accesses. I didn't need to create profiles, and everything was with each module, with each assignment. It was given to me what I need to, succeed in this assignment or the module, or whatever the case may be. All right. And so that was a tick. Another tick, or another thing that was on my list, was that I needed to take my time, even though I had the 9-month kind of deadline. But I love that there was never like this thing on the back of my head, like, oh, you have a deadline, oh, you have this, oh, you have that. Very much self-paced. I could organize my life, and I knew that I had to submit before the next VC, anytime before the next VC. There wasn't like an unspoken rule like you have to submit within 24 hours, or you have to, it's like, frowned upon if you submit like, just the day before. There was nothing like that. There was zero judgment. I just felt it was a safe space. If the assignment took me longer, 1 week compared to another, it was okay. The lecturer would mark when they needed to mark. And, it was just very much rather a safe space, and super self-paced. And I never felt like I had to fit into a box about, when you're studying as an adult, you have to be excelling at everything. Life happens. And so I gave myself grace when 1 week I wasn't as organized as I usually am. I have school, I have my YouTube, I've got everything else, life, friends. So it was very much self-paced, and I allowed myself to progress at my own speed. I obviously knew when it was time to get to the practicals, I had to be on it. But when you find your rhythm and you've got your routine, everything worked out. So that was a big plus for me. Looking into it, they highlighted the fact that it was self-paced, and you would kind of take control of your own learning, All right, another thing that was on my list was that, am I learning from other people? Am I going to be speaking to other people from around the world? Is there going to be collaboration? And that was a plus. I knew that just from reading on their website, they've got people, or rather teachers, from around the world, plus minus 50 countries around the world. And so, people from all courses of life. So you could interact with someone who's in America, who's in the UK, who's in Brazil, or anywhere, Portugal, wherever in the world, you'd be in the same Zoom class. And so there'd be group assignments, and then we'd break out into rooms and we'd discuss. And then obviously we'd share, where are you from? What are you doing? And then I remember at some point, like, I met someone who was in the US, and they were telling us that they work in a really cool camp where, the soldiers are there, but she's teaching English. And, it was just like, whoa, people are teaching under crazy conditions, but this is what it is, and this is life. And so it was like very eye-opening. And that was, for me, one of the things that I wanted to make sure this program would be for me, that even though it's online, I would still get that person-to-person interaction, that human connection. If I wanted to vent, we had like our little group and be like, guys, this assignment is so tricky. Like, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? Like, we could vent and talk about the assignment. So I love that so much. I think that was a big plus for me. So yeah, guys, so those are the things that when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, you know what? Moreland hits all these things. I never felt like there were one or two things that they slacked in. Flexibility, completion time, cost effective, access to diverse materials and resources. Can I speak and connect with people from around the world? Is it self-paced for real? And another plus that I feel like we don't talk about enough is that you can enroll any time of the year. Now, this was a plus for me because life happens. Finances are not in order. You need to figure out your things. So the fact that you don't have like a specific time, but you can dictate when you can afford to take the program and study with them is amazing. And you never feel like you have pressure or you are doing something forced, but rather you're doing it when you are ready. And the fact that you have your payment plan, plus. Another plus was that they really have a good team. They've got an administration team, finance team. Once you've completed, they have got a team that ensures that you get your certificates and all those kind of things. While you're in the program, there's a customer service or customer, well, not a customer, but like if you have any IT problems or anything to do with the platform, you can kind of email them anytime, as well as your lecturer. So there are so many people along the journey that guide you through it. You never feel like you are alone and you're just studying and you're figuring it out by yourself. There's always someone willing to kind of email you, like people like Shelby, and I remember Sarah was super amazing, like a really great people that I still have in my inbox that I could email and be like, guys, I need this, or guys, I need some clarity about this. Amazing. And when I think back, when I was going through this process, instantly when I read up about Moreland, they jumped like it jumped out at me, and I knew that this was the space that I needed to be. So fast forward to at the end of the program. So I completed the program, and then I was in my interview, right? So this kind of reaffirmed why I chose them. And I'm in my interview with the school that I'm with right now, and my previous principal who's left our school now. And I remember I got the interview and they're like, okay, he wants to talk to you. So I jump on the call, and the first question they asked me was like, okay, so tell us about differentiation. What do you think about it? How would you approach it? Blah, 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 blah. Guys, there's a whole module at Moreland about differentiation. And I went in and was so impressed. It's like, how do you know all of this? And I'm like, oh no, I just studied with this university, Moreland University. And it's like, I know Moreland. We really, really love what they're doing. We've got a lot of teachers who have studied with them. So I was just like, this is another sign from God that this was where I was meant to be. And this school really, or rather this university, was the number one choice for me. The only thing that I would say was a hiccup in my application process was the degree equivalency. Now, the degree equivalency is something that us as non-US citizens will need to do, but I highly recommend IEE. IEE was simple and easy, and they were able to get it done for me. And once that is done, honestly, the biggest trouble was getting through to my university in South Africa. But once I was able to get through to them, everything was seamless. So yeah, when I had my interview, it was like, you're the perfect teacher, 21st century teacher, like you will fit perfectly in our school. Just to conclude everything I wanted to share with you guys, it's super, super important when you are enrolling with a university like Moreland to understand what you're going to be learning and how it's going to help you post-studying. And when it comes to the Teach Now preparation program, if you're someone who's in a kindergarten, it could be in China, Asia, wherever, anywhere around the world, and you are currently someone who has a TEFL and just your bachelor's degree, not just, but a bachelor's degree in something that's non-education based, I think, or I recommend that you do this Teach Now preparation certificate. It will help you tremendously. It will give you that stepping stone to get into a primary school or an international kindergarten, and you will be able to handle anything they throw at you because you will be skilled and have the resources and the skill sets and the knowledge to handle any environment when it comes to an international school, especially one that has a diverse classroom with diverse levels. Now, let's say you are wanting to get into a high school or you want to move up and management. Get the master's. It really prepares you for any leadership position in education. If you're someone who wants to get into curriculum development and specialize in something specific, check out the master's programs as well. I think it's time that we talk about upscaling ourselves. This is the perfect time of the year. We're about to end off the semester. So get into it, see what you can study, and prepare yourself for your next teaching role. If you're someone who's not happy where you are or your salary bracket, this is a great opportunity for you as well. So I just wanted to share my thought process when I was approaching studying further and why I wanted to do it and what was on my list. And at the time for me, Moreland ticked all those boxes. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you sit down and you think about it and you figure out, is Moreland the right fit for you, and why, or rather which course will be the best fit for your future. And click the link in the bio, honey. Apply. The worst they can say is no, but honestly, they will take you through every single step and they will guide you to ensure that you get the best out of the program. So yeah, I'm so happy that I was able to share this with you. Thank you so much to Moreland University for the amazing courses that you guys are putting out there for us educators so that we are getting the jobs that we want around the world. I know, as someone who's ready to see the world but also make a big impact in the classroom, Moreland University was that for me. So yeah guys, I will see you in the next video. I hope that was helpful. I will put everything in the description box. Click, read through it, and definitely you can obviously comment if you have some questions. I will happily reply and share that information with you. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.